don't be afraid to have the conversation. That's why we have wallet talks, to encourage you to have these hard conversations, because life is hard and you can't just wish it away. You can't just pray it away. You can't just think that you can avoid it. You have to face it. And some of our greatest times in life are when we push past those hard times.
Welcome everyone to the latest edition of Wallet Talks podcast, where we are exploring ways to have better conversations about money so we can make better decisions with our money. I am your host, Jason Alexander. Have you been wondering how to get your money right? Stressing every month with never-ending lists of financial demands? Or are you just tired of not knowing where all your money is going? Did you know that Wallet Coach has a solution? Wallet Coach offers one-to-one coaching sessions to get your money back into shape. Wallet Coach was formed to help everyday people get financially secure and free by teaching a 4-step approach to money management. Our favorite testimony is one client who saved up $1,000 as an emergency fund within 6 months while only making $1,800 a month. If you are curious how Wallet Coach can help you in similar ways, sign up for a free 15-minute consultation on our website, thewalletcoach.com. That's thewalletcoach.com. Or text the word coach to 470-606-8949 to get a link to schedule. Now back to the show. Hey guys, we are ready to get this show started, and I am so pleased to have my wife here to grace us with her presence once more. I'm really appreciative of her coming on this episode. And was spawned by our conversation, and she just took it and was like, hey, we should do this for the podcast. And I appreciate her for that. So welcome, Tiffany, to Wallet Talks podcast.
Thank you very much.
Yes. How do you feel, Tiffany?
I feel better now that 2-3 a.m. conversation is over.
Don't give away so quickly what we're going to talk about. So, yeah, the idea, the catalyst was a 2 a.m. conversation for sure. But what was it about? We'll get there. I want to share some statistics first in a segment that we call Did You Know? Are you ready for this? I'm going to share some statistics to Tiffany and see how she responds to it. Are you ready for that, Tiffany?
Yep.
All right, so here we go. Did you know that 50% of married couples divorce?
Yes.
Do you know what rate that is in the world? Like, what's the rank of that?
No.
It's the 6th highest ranking in the world. So U.S. divorce rate of 50% is the 6th highest in the world.
Gotcha.
Do you know what the divorce rate is for second marriages?
Lower than that. Probably 20%.
It's 60%.
Wow. You would think you would have learned something from the first.
Well, maybe the third. What about the third?
The third what?
The third marriage. What do you think is the divorce rate for that?
I have no idea. Hopefully it doesn't go up. I mean, hopefully.
Give me a guess. You got to give me a guess.
63. I don't know.
Oh, you were close. It's actually 73.
Okay.
So it goes up. It goes up.
So there's
per
a positive
subsequent
correlation
marriage. Yes.
Between number of marriages and divorce. There's a positive correlation.
Yeah. There's because it
as
increases.
the number of marriages go up,
the
for
divorce
that person,
rate.
the divorce rate
the
is
probability
increases.
of being divorced is increased.
Okay, I remember a little bit from my psychology statistics class.
Well, tell me this. What do you think are the top 3 reasons for people divorcing?
Money's got to be up there.
Okay.
Irreconcilable differences.
Okay.
as vague as that is.
Mm-hmm.
Infidelity.
Okay. Did you look at my sheet?
No, I used to kind of study relationships and things of that sort, so it always intrigues me when I hear different things, and I tend to hear it multiple times.
All right. Well, did you know that the U.S. Census did a survey of the top 3 reasons people have marriages end in divorce? Number 1, at 43%, is incompatibility. The very vague one that you said, well, like, what's incompatible? You were compatible, but now you're incompatible? All right. How did we get incompatible? The second, coming in at 28%, is infidelity.
Mm.
The third, coming in at 22%, money issues.
Mm.
What do you think?
I think we're going to talk about money issues.
Yeah, we are. We're going to talk about money issues. So what I take from that is, okay, divorce rates are increasing, even not increasing, but the more marriages you have, the higher probability of being divorced there is. And the 3 reasons to me center around communication. At least 2 of the 3.
Mm. Okay.
Like incompatibility is like, okay, you just somewhere you failed to communicate in some way.
Mm.
Right? And then the money issues, as you and I are about to talk about, really comes from a place of not having a aligned vision, and not really communicating to each other and listening to each other.
But the question is, how?
Yeah, that is true.
Some people don't know how.
That's true. People, and that's why we have this podcast.
Yes. I do want to ask.
Yeah.
I would do a disservice to my research people that want to know where you got your stats from.
I said it. The U.S. Census Bureau did a survey.
Oh, I thought that was just for the top 3 reasons.
That was for the top 3.
What about the 50%? Do you remember?
You really want me to look that up right now? I have it on the screen. I have to just give me a moment.
Saying.
You can just start talking and I'll look it up.
Yeah, you just have to, show the proof. It can't be just throwing out stats. They only interviewed 10 people, and they say 50%. That's only 5. But I guess my whole thing is it's got to be a good enough sample size. So, Anyways.
So Tiffany wants me to pull up the article. It's World Population Reviews. So I don't know what else you want me to. Okay. It's a divorce rate by state. Actually, this is by state, 2022. So I don't know if they have their evidence here. I mean, they have little ratios and graphs, but I don't know what you're looking for. So
I was just trying to figure out what
sources, divorce study by state. It's
Zippia, which is a career site.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
All right. So can we move on?
Sure.
All right. So it's a somewhat reputable number that we can fairly.
It's not the first time I've heard it, so my guess is it's valid.
Okay. Thank you. So,
and even if it's not valid percentage-wise, I think that many people would agree or know that these are some common reasons why people that they've known have divorced.
Yeah, I think so too. And so what do you, like, we just celebrated 10 years of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we have some of these issues? I know not infidelity. Now I know that one for sure.
The three. Incompatibility, infidelity, money issues. Money, yeah, we've definitely grown in our views of money.
Yeah. And I would say that despite some people thinking that we have our money game on lock every single day, that is definitely not the case.
Yeah, a lot of people think we're on the same page about money, and to be honest, earlier in our marriage, we weren't, and then we were, and then now we're kind of like, okay, you guys are going to hear a little bit more about that in the episode, but you may be surprised at what you hear from both of us about how we handle money and our marriage and our different viewpoints.
So let's get into it. Like for real. Let's tell you what happened a couple nights ago. 2 a.m. We're having conversations. Well, I don't know why we started the conversation.
First of all, I wanted to know what was on your mind or something like that.
Yeah,
and then you started getting real deep, and I'm like, usually I'm the one that's
on
up.
my mind.
I'm usually the one up past midnight, and somehow this guy, oh, you took a nap that day. That's what
I did take a
You
nap
took a
that day.
long nap, and he just had his question just rolling. I'm like, really? Like, we're in bed, and you're asking me these deep questions. And then I got to a point where I was upset, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep. I got to wake up in like 6 hours. And it ended up, though, being a good conversation.
Yeah, but it did start off rough. And I'll tell people what I was thinking. So in that moment, after taking a long nap, I wasn't like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the bed just thinking. I was kind of tired and I was kind of ready to just be silent and go to sleep. But Tiffany asked, yes, again, Tiffany was asking me like, hey, talk to me. And I'm like, talk to me to sleep. I was like, I ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about something. And so she was like, just talk. And I was like, all right, I'll talk to you. Let me ask you these questions. And she gave one response, and I forget what the first question was, but the second one was basically, yo, I'm really thinking about doing this investment. And she said something. Oh, she said something like, I disagree with that. And I was like, wait, you disagree?
No, it first started with you wanting to talk business at 2-3 o'clock in the morning in the bed. And so it was like,
yeah, that's true.
Why are we talking about this
right now? Well, that's what I'm thinking about.
And you think it would just, you know how you have those conversations with people and it's like, oh, I'm just going to do a dusting. And next thing you know, it's like a full on deep cleaning. Like, that's how it was. He, like, touched on it real lightly, and then he just kept digging and stuff. I was like, oh, no, I hope we're not going down this route. Not right now, 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
And, well, okay, so it was about the business and a thing that I was, not a thing, but a task that I thought that you championed and was going to, like, take it on and follow through and stuff like that. And I was kind of asking a follow-up question and saying like, hey, how are things going with this?
Yeah.
And you was like, really? And I was like, yeah, really, like that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then you answered it in a way that made me dig more because I was astonished by your answer, which was, I don't know, I just, you was supposed to, you said you was supposed to remind me on Thursday.
Yes. So it was
to have a meeting about this. And I was like, so Mama immediately went to offense mode because I was like, wait a minute. If you're the champion of this project
for our business,
how is it that the assistant or the non-person that's leading the supposed to remind you to talk to me about something? It's like, you're the leader. You're championing this thing. You should be like, hey, I want to talk to you on a Thursday. Here's the time. Not me. Hey, it's Thursday. Can you come talk to me? So that kind of tipped me. And so, but we talked about, okay, why did you feel that way? Why did you feel like I felt? I was asking you, so Tiffany, why did you just let the ball drop on this? And she was like, I didn't let the ball drop. And I was like, okay, it sounds like you did, but I want to know why. And I'm a big person I'm a big advocate of asking why and asking why and
You're
asking why.
You're an interrogator.
No.
You're an auditor by nature.
I'm an auditor by nature.
By profession, I should say.
In the profession, they call it root cause analysis.
I call it over asking.
No, we get into the root. So what happened there? And I started digging to get to the root of the issue.
I got frustrated, but then a light bulb went off.
So describe to the people the light bulb that went off.
The light bulb was, we obviously thought differently about that particular project and how it should be approached by both parties.
Yes, we understood that we had different expectations of the project. And we learned that, so for example, my expectation was that, again, she would be championing it, take the lead, and pretty much just go run with it autonomy and everything like that. On her part, she was just like, hey, it was just an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still the lead, Jason. You're the face of the company. So you're the one supposed to keep me accountable and keep me structured and sound. And I'm like, I delegated it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, we went into some financial situations. Um, well, before we go there, we also found out that you are a person that doesn't like that freedom that I was trying to give to you. Like here's a project. It's really abstract. Get it done. And you're like, you said to me that was I thought was pretty profound. If you do that to me, Jason, I'm going to just get disinterested in, and it's going to slip, and it's not going to be a high priority for me.
Well, let me rephrase it just a little bit in terms of how I want it to be conveyed. It's more so you are more free flowing.
Me, Jason. Okay.
Yes, you are more free flowing, and I'm like, I need parameters. I need you to tell me when we're going to do something, when we're not going to do something as it relates to that project. Like, I like to have structure.
Okay.
I like to, if I don't, if I have too much time available, or if I don't have other people that I have to be accountable to, whether it could be an appointment, it can be a job, it can be anything. It's just I need somebody else to hold me accountable, and it sounds kind of weird. I should hold myself accountable, yes, but in terms of me being productive and getting certain projects done, I almost need to be pigeonholed into a certain time frame. So, like for instance, if I know I have to be somewhere by 12 noon, but I want to get this one task done before I go, I can't have an appointment that's scheduled for 12 that I can move to 1 because
you're going to move it.
I'm going to move it. I'm going to, like, I need it to, like, stay there. I need it to be inflexible if I want to get that project done in that time frame.
Yeah, and you also mentioned something, too. You said, if if the consequences only affect me and doesn't affect someone else, it's even easier for you to let it drift, I guess. Like,
basically, to sum it up, I'm kind of a people pleaser to a degree.
Right.
But on a more, I guess, better sounding, it would be more just accountability. Like,
Right.
You know how some people need accountability for, exercising and things of that sort? I feel like I need more accountability when it comes to certain things that are not necessarily at the forefront of my mind at all times.
And so, like, when I hear accountability, it sometimes can be in the form of just reminders. People come and tap you on the shoulder. Hey, did you do this? Did you think about this? What I heard from you that night was the project wasn't as sticky for you, or in whatever abstract thing that you're doing or having to do, it's not sticking for you, and it's not at your core, and it's not in front of your mind because it can only impact you. Like, if you don't do it, it's only going to harm you, and you're like, okay, whatever. But if you not showing up for that project or doing that task, and it affects someone else, you're more likely to show up and excel at it because you don't want to disappoint that person. You don't want that person to be harmed.
Yes. And that's not necessarily a healthy way to think about things, because you end up, sometimes I end up not accomplishing things that, I know I want to get done because I'm only accountable to myself.
Mm-hmm.
But in another way, it helps me have somebody that holds me accountable in certain areas.
Yeah, but that can't be me, right?
It cannot be you. Oh my gosh. Like, that's the thing. Like, it has to be somebody outside of Jason.
Because we're one. So if it's a negative impact on yourself,
well, you're just
which
too
is
close.
You.
Like,
exactly.
You're too close. Like, it just doesn't. work, like just with the exercising. We can never, at least currently,
don't be talking about me
we
now.
cannot be each other's accountability partner. We be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna go walking together. We look at each other and be like, you feel like walking? No, I don't either. Guess we're gonna sit here.
Oh,
Or another person is, oh, I want to go walking. Well, I don't. Guess we're gonna sit here. Or the other person just goes out and does it. Yeah. There's just certain areas we cannot hold each other accountable in.
Yes.
And that's fine because, God surrounds us with other people.
Yes.
Too.
So when did we get into the finance? How did we take that conversation and end it into a revelation and an epiphany about how we think about money?
Well, kind of like me when I said I need structure and parameters. Like when you think about driving in a car and you're in a lane, some people swerve from lane to lane. That's you. Like you can swerve from the slow lane to the fast lane to the middle lane, maybe be in between lanes. I'm like, okay, I need to be in one lane at a time. I need to know that this is where I'm going to be, and I don't want to be all over the place.
Yeah.
I need less risk, and I need to not be hopping all over the place.
And here's the thing that just hit me. And if you're driving in that lane, let's say the slow lane, and you're just being straight and narrow and abiding by the speed limit and things like that, and the guy comes around and starts speeding around you, you try to disassociate yourself. You slow down probably a little bit and try to distance yourself from that person that's going all crazy because you think basically they're going to crash, right? Mm-hmm. So from a financial standpoint, when I just thought about that, you're distancing yourself from that person because of the possible inevitable impact you think they're going to have. Mm-hmm. Is you're distancing yourself from my wild ideas.
Yes.
And that, honestly, telling everyone, and you already know this, was kind of disappointing and kind of just deflated some of my activities because I was like, where's my girl? She's not right next to me. What's going on? Mm-hmm. And I literally would do this to Tiffany. I would have like 3 ideas in one day, maybe even more. And my mind is always going about something. And she's like, oh my gosh, stop it. Like, what happened to our vision of this, that, and the other? I'm like, yeah, but we can expand it. We're on this track, like I can definitely have that syndrome of changing lanes a lot. But I think that I'm still progressing down the road, mm-hmm. and which I am. But I'm just weaving in and out of traffic. Mm-hmm. You're like, yeah, but let's just stay in this lane.
Yeah, and ultimately, what we realize is, we're switching lanes, but we're going in the same direction. We have the same vision. We just have a different way or different lane that we're traveling in, or that we envision, being in and are comfortable in, really.
Yeah, and so, like, what was the illustration that we said that we used a highway system?
Oh, yeah, 75 and 85 in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So you got 75 and 85, and you're going to the airport.
So for those who are not in Atlanta, think about the map of Georgia, right? And down the center, from the westernmost part tip, there's 75 coming down to the center of Georgia, which is Atlanta, right? Well, semi-center. And then on the far east, you have 85. No, am I doing that right?
Don't ask me.
I don't know. I might be doing this wrong.
We ended up going in a whole other direction, Alabama one day.
I might be right. So you have another highway coming down from the east side, coming and meeting in Atlanta, and they're on one accord. I mean, they merge for like 20, 30 miles, and then they split back off, and the one that started from the east starts going towards the west. And the one that started on the west starts going towards the east, which is 75. Yeah, so 85 and 75. So 75, I-75 started in the west and ends towards the east coast. And I-85 starts on the east and ends in the west coast. But in the middle, they came together. And I thought of that as a marriage. Two people are on their own roads. They eventually come together. But at some point, they start to splinter off.
Mm.
And it's kind of like those marriage statistics we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
They start having incompatibility because possibly they're not talking to each other as much. They're not connected with each other because they're actually drifting apart.
And possibly even, the whole part about compromise.
Right.
Because it can't be my way or the highway, all pun intended. Like, it cannot be that. You have to be able to talk through.
That's true.
And share with each other what your different, not vision, but different approach to the same vision, and be able to weigh the pros and cons together and come up with a plan that hopefully incorporates both. But if not, talking through to see what is something that is palatable on both ends.
Yeah. Yeah. And so talking through that, I want to say this. When I was doing my root cause analysis and asking the tough questions, or not tough questions, but just keep poking.
Mm-hmm.
I did that under the heavy guidance of the Holy Spirit. I want to say that. Like, he had warned me. He's like, don't get angry. Calm down, breathe, and just ask this question. Because I've done it in the past where the same question, but I put some emotion to it and some sternness and some like, hey, I need an answer right now. She just shuts down. This time, I eliminated the emotion, just asked a curious question, non-judgmental, and listened. But you said something about, in addition to that, you said something in regards to your way or the highway. And if I didn't have that tough conversation, I think a lot of people fall victim to not communicating and pushing through those tough conversations, those hard when it's kind of irritating, and not having a technique to push through it like the Holy Spirit guided me. And because they don't go down that route, they get a point of, you know what, I'll just do it myself. Right?
His and her
money. His and her money. Like, it literally came across my mind, honestly. Like, you know what? I know these ventures are going to help us reach our financial goal. And I asked you that question. I said, do you believe in our financial 5-year plan? And you said, honestly, no. You said
I feel like it would be longer, 10 to 15 years.
Right.
Yeah, I think we have the same vision as in terms of what happens. It's just a matter of the timeline and the way that we get there.
Right.
And that's where I'm a little more apprehensive, just because I'm not a big fan of risk in any part of my life, and you're just like, let me have it.
No, well, I'm not.
But
like I'm not let you have it. I'm like, there has to be some element of risk.
Yes, and I think you also have a financial background that allows you to understand and study these types of avenues. And I'm more of like, numbers don't lie, and the numbers right here don't look good. But we have learned in the past, for instance, selling certain things and realizing the value later. We have had that before, so I can understand how sometimes things look a certain way, but if you just set it out or sit it out, it may actually end up benefiting you if you're just patient.
Yeah, and so I want to tell people, like, yo, be patient in those conversations. It may be cringy, but be patient. And I want to give a piece of advice for all the married couples out there. The Bible definitely talks about this. A soft response quenches anger. I paraphrase that, but that's essentially what it's saying. Like, so me not having fire in my voice and being calm and just asking a question, temper down her frustration that I had created because I was asking these questions because I was frustrated. And I was patient enough to let her talk through it. That was the first time I've done that in a long time. And it came to great revelation because I was getting frustrated because initially that she said, well, no, I don't believe that we can do this in 5 years. And I'm like, okay, what the world? We were just doing this because I need to, and our 5 year goal is to have, not 5 year goal, but what our objective is to have our lifestyle supplemented or paid for through passive income. Now, that can come in various ways. And I've been going down one path, and she wants to go down another. Of course, that's what we've been talking about. But pushing through that conversation to talk through it was tough and to get through the emotions. But once we got there, I got to see that, okay, this is why Tiffany did this. This is why, because she is a structured person. I knew it, but I didn't correlate it to why she wasn't on board that I thought she would be, because when I heard the vision, I thought the vision was this: we're going to use passive income to supplement our lifestyle, and we're going to do it in these three facets. And I thought you was 100% on board, and you was like, I'm not. I said it was okay.
The way that you went about it,
right? And then
type of thing.
And so, but eventually, I found out why you felt that way, and it brought us closer because we were able to break through that and get to that root cause. And that root cause gave me different perspective and said, okay, so I need to change up. I need to provide some security for my wife in our vision, right? And not the vision, because we both believe that we want to have passive income covered. That's the thing. But how we do it needs to incorporate her quirks and her
way of doing
it, and it can incorporate mine. And so what we came up with, it was what I offered. I was like, well, what if for our like passive income, it's more of a structured pattern that's given to us by a financial advisor, and you need to, that it's a play or a plan where we invest in IRAs that are stable, that are consistent. As long as we keep contributing at a certain rate, it's going to grow at this certain rate, and it's proven, and it's kind of, you have the graphs to show it. Let that be one leg of it.
And that used to be the only leg, really.
That used to be the only leg.
Pre-pandemic.
And I tried to start adding
Pandemic
two other.
took another turn with this man's mind over here.
Yeah, I started seeing different opportunities. So I was like, let's add two more legs to it. Let's add rental income.
He almost dismissed the whole part of that plan. Do you remember? You almost was just like, forget, I'm going to just do this with the IRA and all this other stuff. And I was like, hold on. They talk about diversification for a reason.
Until yesterday, until that conversation, I was still thinking like, you know what? Let me just cash in these one IRAs and just go in on getting this investment property, because that's the quickest way in my mind to get to our goal of passive income covering our lifestyle. And that it could happen. But that lifestyle will be much different because I'll be by myself, and this lady right here to me would not be there. She would have been like,
"You
hey,
go ahead and get that house.
You go ahead. I can't." But that's the incompatibility where it's like we're not working together. It's like, well, it's really eye opening, that conversation, because to me it seemed like we definitely saw each other and did something important, I think, which is accept each other.
Well, give each other grace to be flexible, adjust and pivot, which is what we're now doing again. You're doing it in terms of what you feel like is best.
Yeah,
financially.
Adding a more secure
keeping
channel.
That secure thing. You never did anything with it that I know of.
Keeping a secure channel, and I can add some, some more wild, free riskier channels to it, but we got that one core.
Yeah, but also just, playing to our strengths and weaknesses, right? So,
Yeah.
or playing to our strengths, really, because, in one regard, there's a strength in me saying, we need to have something stable over here. There's also strength in you saying, let's take a risk, and we could actually end up with more money, too. And that's fine. I mean, just kind of getting the best of both worlds in a sense. And ultimately, what we need to, remember is to also just check in like we did last night. Check in to see, if we're in the same lane. Are we at the same speed? Ultimately, are we going in the same direction to get to the same vision?
Yeah.
And somebody is not leaving you at a yellow light and you get the red light and then you like, dang, you just left me.
Dang, I was probably gonna do that.
Just leave me and I want to send the cops.
Yeah. It's like, let me just, she want to keep going slow. Let me just, hey, she catch the light, she catch the light. I'm sorry.
That ain't right.
You know where I'm going to be at. Down 75 South.
Oh, my goodness.
While she took the wrong turn and went down 85 South.
That's funny, Jay. Yeah, so that's what we encourage you to do is, have those conversations with your spouse, with yourself, too, like what you want, and just always remember a plan. A dream without a plan.
It's just a wish.
It's just a wish.
Just a wish.
Just a wish.
Wish away. Wish away.
We should keep our daydreams.
We definitely should keep our day jobs.
Yeah. It won't always be pretty, though.
Yeah, it won't always. And, I mean, we recently, someone, we hear people saying, like, oh, y'all got it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And that night, I was like, oh my gosh, we don't have it all together.
Mm-hmm.
What is on? Are we going in different directions? And it was just a small tweak. But now I feel more secure in my actions because I know that I'm going to meet her expectations or her needs with having that secure channel while I can still have my more riskier channels and we can have fun. Yeah. So overall, guys, we are just sharing us like the real, like this literally happened 2 days or 2 nights ago or something like that, and it's still fresh, but I did feel a sense of intimacy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was smiling. I was glad I had that conversation because, to be honest, that night I wasn't just talking to you. I was talking to myself, and I realized in some other areas of my life, like, wow, I need this structure in order to really get to the next level. And something that I've been almost avoiding is something that's actually healthy for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I realized for me, even in like my other careers, having this conversation helped me realize something about myself and why I haven't been drawn to new job offers that are resemblance of my old career. And it made me realize, like, you know what? I'm really a risk taker. I'm really like autonomy. I am an entrepreneur. At heart.
And I would be the one that's like, if I were to go back to, if I was going to go back to the workforce, whether part-time or full-time, I need you to tell me when you want me to be there and you need to tell me when my shift is over. So I know how to structure my day. And I can't have you saying you can come in at any time between whatever. I'll give you the hours you're asking me for, but it's not going to help me. I need you to tell me.
Yeah. Yeah, and you be a part of a team that you believe in.
Yeah, and that's professional.
Yeah, well, and then also having that sense of knowing that your work is contributing to something and that your work can affect someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, again, that intimacy of knowing each other was priceless. It's I think having that kind of conversation throughout our marriage, I know we had it throughout our 10 years, has allowed us to stay 10 years. Now, again, sometimes those conversations don't end well, but that night it did. It was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hope you got something from that, folks. We are super excited about what's coming up next for Wallet Coach. We're going to have more episodes. We're almost at episode, we reached our almost at our goal for this year. When I first started out, we were trying to do at least 20, and I think we're really, really close to it. We're going to keep pushing away, and we really appreciate you guys' support and hope that this is adding value. So please leave us some comments, leave us some insights on what you think would be more valuable, if this is not valuable. But we believe this is, from the feedback we already gotten so far, it's been pretty valuable, pretty interesting. So thank you for those comments and keep them coming. And as we close, if you put God first in your marriage, meaning that you consult with him and you make your job, you make your God, your marriage and your job in that order, things will kind of work out. And I'm going down this tangent because a wise man told me that in the beginning of 2020, and I've had that alignment in reverse or out of order, where job was first and then Tiffany was second, and I was trying to put, it's like, hey, gal, I'm working over here providing for us, so go take care of her. Go take care of her. The nerve of me, right? When he's like, no, that's your job. You come talk to me, and then you go take care of her. I got you. So that's what happened. I believe that night. I was like, Lord, you gotta help me, and because, and it's funny because, and it's funny now that I think about it. Before we had that conversation, I had said in our prayer that night before we went to, got into the bed, really, I was like, Lord, give us wisdom on how, on our career paths and financial paths and things like that, thinking that God was going to answer that prayer probably, in the future, but it was literally probably 10 minutes later. So,
won't he do it?
So any last...
He may not come when you want him, but be there right on time.
He may not come when he want it, but he'll
be
there right on time. So
I'm sure these people don't want to hear us sing.
All right. So any last comments, Tiffany, you want to give to the people as we sign off?
Don't be afraid to have the conversation. That's why we have wallet talks.
To
encourage you to have these hard conversations, because life is hard. And you can't just wish it away. You can't just pray it away. You can't just think that you can avoid it. You have to face it. And some of our greatest times in life are when we push past those hard times.
Those initial hard times.
Yeah.
And knowing that, you said this before in a previous podcast, it's temporary.
Mm-hmm.
It's just temporary.
Yeah.
This too shall pass.
Yep.
So, guys, that's it. That's the show. Thank you again to Tiffany for coming through, my lovely wife. Yes. And again, it doesn't matter what you make. It's what you do, what you make. So, hey, start changing your mind by getting books, listening to podcasts like this, and start doing things a little bit different. Because if you change your mind, you change your wallet, you change your life. This is Jason Alexander with his co-host Tiffany Alexander, this time saying peace out.